mindfulness, in my kind of way of thinking, mindfulness is just a first step, but it's a very, very, very important first step. And it already helps people move into a deeper interior.
It'll be interesting to see now with the election in the US, whether the person who wins is the one who's most present.
I'm following the US election daily with enormous interest. Yeah, and if we look, for instance, I'm very interested and concerned about what's happening to Hillary Clinton. I think she's, without a doubt, the most competent person to be the next president, but her presence is letting her down.
Well, I think you had better go and give her some guidance.
You're not the first person. You're not the first person who said that.
Save the world and be bold.
But it's very true what you said, because she doesn't come over us with enough heart. You know, and people are finding it difficult to trust her now, and it's costing her dearly.
This is the problem with women in a traditionally man's world. You know, we try to fill the shoes and forget that we shouldn't necessarily try and wear the pants.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's an enormous relevance in what you're saying. I mean, I see that when I work with senior female executives. It's very problematic how to be in that world and to be truly powerful, and yet to retain a deeper feminine essence.
Yes.
It's a very big topic. That's actually another course, I think.
Yes.
And I have some female colleagues who run programs just for senior women leaders, and obviously that's a core part of what they address. So.
Great. I would say that it's learning to embrace gratitude, which is the main kind of receptivity, or the feminine, the yin side, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it has many dimensions. I mean, one of the qualities that I talk about as being very, very opening and very important for a leader is what I call robust vulnerability.
Wow.
Robust vulnerability. And vulnerability is sometimes misinterpreted. I don't mean weakness, but I mean there's a robustness, and then within that there's a kind of softness and openness, which is, I'm here, I'm really here, and I take you in, and I relate to you, and I let myself be touched by you, but I'm also very robust. It's a very magnetic quality.
Yes. Because actually vulnerability is the glue that holds us together.
Of course, it's the connector. It's literally the connector.
Yes.
Because without vulnerability, there is no connection. Vulnerability is like, another way of thinking about vulnerability is, it's like we operate within a circle, but vulnerability is the 10% openness. And it's the 10%, I'm not going to be fully in control here. I'm going to actually be here, because if I'm fully here, I cannot control what's going to happen. And this is also one of the big kind of thresholds we need to cross, in which we put in the courses, because the old modality is predicated on being in control. So which anyway is a total fantasy, but it's a very strong fantasy. Vulnerability can't be present if I want to be in control. Because vulnerability means I'm open to what is happening, not to what I want to happen.
It's a kind of a no mind, or a new mind.
Yes, exactly. It's a not knowing. And that, I mean, just to go back, we've kind of done a wonderful diversion. But that's also the entry point to what I call higher consciousness. Because that 10% openness, and this arises, it's very interesting how it arises during the work, because at first it's like people's system are tight. And through somatic work, like physical breathing and relaxation, crucially through emotional work, I mean, I'll come back to that, because that's a very essential part of it. through those two, as well as through cognitive understanding, little by little, people's system starts to like open like that. And then, for instance, a symptom of that is that often as we continue after the first day, suddenly people are very content to sit in silence. That's a very big change, particularly in the corporate world. And so actually someone recently in the US, I was working with a group, and on the second day we were in silence, and someone actually said, this is amazing. Yesterday I would have been so uncomfortable. And right now I'm loving it. Because in that silence, we enter that deeper kind of feeling of being. And in that being, there's a listening and a receptivity, not to what I already know, but to something that's emerging. Sometimes it becomes clear, sometimes not. And I'm content to sit in that unknowing. That's really the beginning of higher levels of consciousness. Until that's possible, we just continue in what we already know, and we reproduce what we already know. And there's no real exit from that. Einstein, said it perfectly. We can't solve problems at the level at which they were created. We have to have that openness that allows something new to come in.
That's beautiful.
So that's what I call the beginning of leading from the higher levels of consciousness. And then it goes back to what we were saying earlier about the attuning. That I start to listen to people and I get much more information. I start to listen in a more empty way to situations, and I start to get much more information about what's trying to emerge, what's the potential here, where is something locked, so on. So that's really the territory of we get into what I call leading from higher levels of consciousness.
Very, very exciting work.